Mike. It's me, Bill.
Hey, Bill. How you doing? How you been?
I've been good. Hey, welcome back, man. Episode 8. It's part 1 Behind the Wheel podcast with me, Bill Mell, and
Mike Schweitzer,
where we're talking about Lightning Sprint race cars.
Yep.
And we're talking to Lightning Sprint drivers across the country.
Yes, we are. And today we've got another 2 drivers we're going to be speaking to. One of them is, I hope I'm pronouncing this correct, is Dylan Langevin from the Minn-Kota Lightning Sprints, and Johnny Booth from the Rocky Mountain Lightning Sprint Association.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Lightning Sprints, tell me about Lightning Sprints, Mike.
So it's a production. It's like a lot of the cars will double over as a midget. Some of them won't. Some will because of the way the rear end sits in the car. But it's the Lightning Sprints run a production motorcycle engine. Most of them have been converted over to methanol. There's still a few guys that run on gas, but it's a chain-driven car. To me, I think it's the best bang for the buck in racing out there. I mean, racing is a very, very expensive sport.
Yeah.
And Lightning Sprint is no different. I mean, it can be very expensive also, but with motorcycle engines, you can usually find a wrecked bike on eBay, or some of them, I found one here in town. It was at a wrecking yard.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I mean, the motors are out there, and so you just buy the motor, and a lot of guys will go right from the motor or right from the bike into their car, but some of them will rebuild the motors before they put them in.
Right. So our first caller today is Dylan. It looks like Langevin. Dylan, you there with us?
Yep.
So we're not usually pretty good, but we've had to talk to a few guys like Mike Smith or Bob, Small. We didn't mean to murder your name, and maybe we did. So why don't you tell us? It's Dylan. How do you pronounce your last name? Langevin.
Okay, well, yep. I was way off. I got one of those names too. Mine's Schweitzer, and man, I get Switzer, and spelling is always way off. So I got one of those names like that too, Dylan. I sure do.
So tell us about your name, Langevin. Where does that? What is that? Tell us.
It's French Canadian.
French Canadian. Okay.
Yeah, you're right up there by that border too, aren't you?
Yep.
So, well, anyways, Dylan, you're here with Bill Mell from Bill Mell and Associates, Real Estate Services, and myself, Mike Schweitzer. Just a little intro to who we are. Is Bill's been a longtime friend and coworker that I worked with in the oil and gas industry, and he since went on to be a real estate broker here in Bakersfield, California. And we enticed him to come racing with us. He knew where the racetrack was located at about 5 years ago. So his knowledge is.
That's about all I knew.
Yeah. He knew how to get there was about it. But
I need a car out there is what I need.
Yeah. We got some good stuff coming up here in California here over the next couple months too, man. We got some pretty good shows that are going to be coming, but. Yeah, Bill sponsors the car that I own, and Bill had this studio available, and we talked about doing some podcasts, and we finally got it put together to do a couple with the Lightning Sprint guys to kind of start out with the Lightning Sprint guys anyways, and maybe it'll kind of bring a little awareness and maybe attract a few more new people or maybe a couple sponsors for everyone or what have you. But we're just going to do a few of these podcasts and see how it goes. And if it works out, we're going to continue to do them. And if not, we'll focus more on the car and more in the yard, I guess.
For sure. Hey, so Dylan, how old are you?
I'm 29.
29, man, young one, Mike.
Yeah.
I'm 29.
I feel like I'm 8.
I do too sometimes. I just turned 50 this year, and sometimes I feel like I'm 18.
Yeah, I'm going to be 61 this coming September, end of September, man. It's like, oh, man, 61. Dang it. I still feel like I'm 25 at heart, but, man, it's some of those days after running all night racing, it's like, man, the next day I am wore out.
I hear you. I hear you. Hey, where are you calling us from today? Where do you live at, Dylan?
Thief River Falls, Minnesota.
Oh, Minnesota. Okay.
Nice.
Right on, man. So during this, while we're talking to you too, if you've got any questions for us, please feel free to ask us also as well. I mean, it's not just one-sided by us anyways.
Yeah, it's hotter than hello, how are you over here in Bakersfield right now. And we didn't have any lunch with any movie stars today, or didn't see any movie stars at lunch.
70 degrees here.
Oh.
70, yeah, we don't, we try not to leave those curse words out. So if you talk to us like that again and tell us about that cold weather, we might have to mute you for a little longer.
Yeah, but when it's 35 below zero here, when you guys are out there in the winter.
That's true. We are still doing jumping jacks in the rain.
Yeah, it was 103 here today. So I was listening to the news yesterday, and we usually have a few more heat waves than what we had this year. We've only had 3. But we've had 48 days of triple digit.
Yeah.
I mean, we still got a couple months to go in the year, and we've already had 48, man. It's like, God, it's killing us here.
Yeah, Jackson keeps telling me to come out there, and I told him the only way I'm coming out there is when it's cool.
Yeah, well, we're getting ready to get there, but we only have October, there's some good races going out in Lemoore, and then, the CLS got a few, and I think Brent's got one that CLS is they're gonna co-sanction together, and then we've got the big one with the midgets at Bakersfield here in town, national.
Yeah, that's the one that Texans want me to come out to.
That's a good show, man. That is an awesome show. I mean, that's really cool. And then right after that, everybody heads north to Placerville to run that 3-day show up there, the Hangtown 100. Of course, it's without the wings, so
Right.
I've always gauged it here, the weather in Bakersfield, on when I take the kids. So take the kids trick or treating, and usually, for the most part, and the kids are older now, but had to wear a jacket trick or treating, or some kind of flannel sweatshirt or something like that. But that was usually the starting night of the cold weather to come. And so I'm like, yep, and it's hadn't been that way for a couple of years now.
Yeah, we'd sure like to have you out here on the West Coast for some of them shows, if you ever get a chance, man.
If I had a car out there, I'd be flying out there for them.
Right on.
Well, they have rental cars here too, so what the heck.
Yeah, no, I told Brent Sexton, I said, you better get me a car ready if you want me to come out here.
Right.
I'm not going to haul mine 30 hours.
There you go. Dylan, what do you do for a living?
I'm a glazer.
Oh,
A glazer.
So,
glass.
so it's commercial storefronts and custom showers and
Oh, wow.
stuff like that.
That's pretty cool. A lot of the folks we've been talking to, the drivers we've been talking to, they have a tendency to do something definitely industry related, you know what I mean? For the most part, if you will.
I come from a motocross background, so it's I'm always involved with some kind of racing. I always have been my whole life, but I kind of keep work and play separate.
Nice.
Yeah. So with being a glazer, do you do like I've never been to Minnesota, but do you do like the high-rise buildings there too, or?
We don't where we are. We're too small, but you get down a couple hours south of us and they start doing that stuff. Just we're small.
I had a good friend of mine, that's what his dad was, up in the San Francisco Bay Area, and they did those high-rise buildings. I thought, man, you guys are crazy.
So
there ain't no way.
the glazers. So you install glass?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like you go in like a little strip mall and like you have aluminum doors and windows and stuff. I put that stuff in.
Gotcha. What about your family, Dylan? You got family out there?
Yep, I got 2 little girls,
Nice.
and then I got a girlfriend up here, and
Brothers, sisters, cousins, uncles?
I got a half sister that lives in Minneapolis, and then my dad lives here in town.
Nice. Girlfriend's name, you want to give her a shout out or anything? Or is she a secret girlfriend or what?
No. No, she's sitting right next to me.
Oh, she is. All right. What's her name? Let's put her on here today.
Katrina.
Hi, Katrina. Welcome. Hello.
Keep him in check right there since you're sitting next to him,
Right.
For sure.
Right. Hey, so Dylan, what number are you running?
Number 4.
Number 4. So tell me about number 4. What's Where'd number 4 come from?
In high school, my football number was 4. Just growing up, I don't know, I always like the 4. My motocross number was 444.
Nice.
Good even number.
Yeah. So what chassis and what motor package you running in that number 4 car?
I started out the year in a henchcraft, and I got pushed up into a wall and ended up totaling the car. It was a broken 19 spot.
Wow.
The chassis was. So
Wow.
then after that, we kind of went on the hunt for a car, and we ended up with, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Alex Lewis out there.
What kind of car is it?
Triple X.
Oh yeah. Okay, I know who you're talking about now.
I got one of the DHL Triple X raised rail cars now with a ZX10 power plant.
How you like it?
It's good, and it's the nice part about it. Like, it's got the same horsepower as the new Suzuki that everyone's raving about, but it's half the price. You know,
Yeah.
these new Suzukis are $7,500 with
Wow.
no their auto bodies or anything, and I can get a new ZX10 for $4,000 with their auto body. So it's one of them deals where you got to go where it's at. And I don't know, this class, I hope something changes, because we put on a good show, but our pay it's got to go up. I mean, the amount that we're putting into these cars to compete with the best of the best, and it's getting to be one thing. It's not even fun going to the track anymore, you know.
Yeah. Well, so is what I run. I've got an older Hinchcraft. It's a 07, and
Yep.
the motor I run, if it was a kid, if it was a human, it would be able to sit at the bar and drink. I run a 2000 ZX12. I'm one of the last of the few of the Mohicans that still run the 12, but I've got so many of them, it's just kind of hard to get away from that, you know. But
Oh, right. Yeah, you can't. Yeah, tough. I have 3 ZX10s, the new 17s, and it's, you know what I mean? What do you do?
yep.
Keep on going with what you're familiar with.
Yeah, what you got in stock is what you got to run.
Dylan, how'd you get started racing?
Well, I started racing bike when I was 4 or 5,
Right.
and then I quit for a while and then got back into it. I ended up racing some professional snowcross on the national series, and then professional snow bike, and then I ended up buying a motocross track up here in Greenbush, Minnesota, which is one day of our shootout race.
Wait. Did you say you bought a racetrack?
A motocross track, yep.
Really?
Yep, so I run 1 to 2 races a year there. I don't ride bike anymore. I haven't rode bike in 4 years now, but I run a race there, and I ran a couple buddies' cars here and there, like 15, 16,
Yeah.
and I wanted to get into it, but kids got in the way there, and now last year we bought a car and got back into car racing, and here we are.
Good.
There it is.
Good.
Wow.
Keep promoting that lightning sprint. You know, keep that group running anyways. So
Yeah, the guy I kind of raced for up here, Jason Olson on Olson Underground, he's a big sponsor to me, and his kid, I think he's 14, and he's been running Lightnings with us now, and we just switched all his stuff over to the Triple X DHL cars too, so we got rid of all his henchcraft.
Nice.
We're all running the same race
Consistent.
rail Triple X's. Yep.
Yeah. That makes it a little easier for the home team, if you will.
Yeah.
Which one of them, we talked about some racing, bike racing. Which one's been your favorite?
Oh, car by far.
Car by far, yeah. What about the cars?
There's the adrenaline you feel. I mean, don't get me wrong, flying through air at 60 feet at 140, 150 feet at a time is fun, but I don't know, there's something about car racing that's hard to beat.
yeah. I
Yeah.
agree. So what's in your racing future? What are you looking to do? Are you content just doing what you're doing now, or is there something in your future you look to move up into doing? Or
Oh, the dream is always to race. Like, we have 410s weekly here, hour away. It'd be nice to get into one, but you got to find someone with some money that likes racing to get going in it. I mean, talking 60,000 a motor.
Yeah.
Our cars, I mean, roller and parts and wings and all that's all the same price. So that's not the problem. It's just the power plant. I would love to do it. I don't know. We have the Race Saver 305s around here too that pay pretty dang good to win.
yeah,
So I don't know, we'll see what happens this winter. They're supposed to have a big meeting on our Lightning Sprint group up here, because on a weekly night we have 18 to 25 cars.
Really?
Yeah, we have a lot of cars up here.
I kind of follow you guys a little bit. I watch a lot of racing. I'm kind of at home right now a lot more than I used to be, so I've got a lot of time on my hands in the evening, so I go back and watch a lot of stuff that you guys put on there. I've talked to Jason Berg a few times, and I watch his show, and I kind of bounce all over, just kind of keeping track with all the Lightning Sprint stuff and midgets and sprint cars too also. But yeah, you guys got a good thing going on up there for sure.
I know of 5 cars for next year that are being bought, if not bought already, for young kids that are coming up.
That's what we need. That's what the sport needs right there.
Those are good numbers, yeah.
Yeah.
it's coming down to the point where we're putting 30,000 into a lightning sprint. We're racing for $250 to win. It's just, we put on just as good shows the 410s in town, and when we're in Grand Forks where they are,
Yeah.
I mean, we're turning the exact same lap times, if not better racing. So the pay has got to do something if we want to compete, because all the top 10 guys up here have the best of the best, and you have to, if you want to compete, you have to have the best of the best. You're 30,000 into a lightning sprint, and it does, you know what I mean? It's getting to the point where it doesn't make any sense.
So where do you think that extra money's gonna come from?
Well, I mean, like, you got the A mods and everything else that are racing for double the money we are, triple the money we are, and we got the same entry fee, and we have twice as many cars.
Is that like a sponsorship thing that's kind of bringing that extra money to the table, you think, or?
No, that's every track. That's why Zota's pay. I mean,
Promoters.
that's what they.
They need to give a little bit more away. Is what
Yeah,
what
it's
you're
the
saying.
promoters and that. So
Yeah,
that's kind of
I mean,
what
they're
that is.
I mean, we pay, if we have 20 cars, we pay our whole class pay plus almost another class pay.
Oh yeah,
So, you know what I mean? So it's like something's got to give.
right.
Well, you got a lot more into your cars up there than what I've got. I mean, but we do a lot of our own stuff. Me and my brother, we've built cars, and we've actually got a few that we've got frames built. We built EMC cars for quite a few years, and then we totally got out of racing. And man, when we got back into it and I saw the cost of them cars, I thought, holy mackerel.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting to the point, like, you got to have the best of the best. You can't be down 5 horse, because it shows.
Yeah.
I mean, it shows. I mean, don't get me wrong, it comes down to driver too, but at the end of the day, it shows, especially when the track gets heavy, and it's this year with all the tire shortage and everything that's going on, all the tracks are dumping more water on it. They're not slick. It's always hammer down. Every edge you can have, you have to have.
Well,
Gotcha.
we need some of that water out here, man. Our tracks are dry, slick.
Amen.
Brent Sexton says it best, and he goes, I wish I could bring this dirt back home in the trailer.
Yeah.
I mean, we're very lucky with the tracks we have. I mean, it's very, very lucky.
Yeah, that's good. Good for you guys, man.
I was thinking it might be a good idea to build a pipeline instead of running oil in it. Run water from the east to the west.
Yeah.
Out
There
here
you
to
go.
the desert. I mean, but that's too simple.
Well, I know to put that oil in a pipeline to get it to the refinery, you're looking at like $3 a barrel. So, I mean, it's at a point, it's going to be profitable, to do that
Totally.
at some point.
Totally. Yes. So, Dylan, what else do you do outside of racing? And you got any other hobbies or anything you like to do?
Well, I work on snowmobiles now instead of race them all winter long. I like to get to the lakes and go ice fishing, but that doesn't happen very often in the summer. It just seems like in between motocross track and car racing, it's literally racing.
Master racer, yes.
Yeah, that ain't no kidding.
Wow.
Whether I'm working on them, driving them, running a race, it seems like I'm always doing something racing.
So I've watched you guys run, especially on that summer shootout, where you guys run Buffalo River and Greenbush and that. So what's a favorite track? What's your favorite track that you like running on up there?
I really like River City's Grand Forks.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and look at that one. Man, them tracks all look really nice up there, though,
Greenbush is a very close second.
Yeah, I think my favorite is, I like Bakersfield. I don't like Bakersfield in July and August. I don't like it. But early in the year, I like it. And late in the year, it's 3 grooves. You got it all the way from the bottom to the top. And then I also like Lemoore. Lemoore's a neat little track.
But you guys don't have much banking, do you?
At Bakersfield, we do. At Bakersfield, she's banked pretty good.
Yeah, because Brent Sexton, he runs all them, and he said there's nothing like Grand Forks. There's no banks like Grand Forks out there.
Yeah, probably our biggest bank track would probably be Bakersfield Speedway, probably.
So tell me about the banking thing.
Makes for good racing, because you can drive a lot harder than what you can, say, on Glendon or Ada or some of the tracks we run on. I rarely ever lift, ever, in Grand Forks.
Yeah, that's the way it is at Bakersfield. If you're lifting, you're losing because they're passing you.
Kind of imagine you're talking to somebody that doesn't know anything about racing, and then you're talking to me right now. And so when you say lifting, what is the car lifting, like off the ground? Or?
No, lifting off the gas.
Getting off the throttle.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Because you're too high or too low? Or
No, it's just when a track's flatter, you don't rely on that banking to make your car turn left,
Gotcha.
I mean, you have that big banking. I mean, obviously your car wants to turn left anyway, but it helps big time where it's flatter. You kind of got to let off and let the car set before you go get back on the throttle to exit the corner. Or with these higher banks, it's pedal to the metal.
Right.
So it's like with the higher banks, you're in a bowl all the time.
Yep, exactly.
Gotcha.
You can set better.
I understand that one.
Yeah, you're usually up on the fence, and
Not
that's
good.
a bad thing about Bakersfield is I don't like is, during the summer months that thing will take rubber on the bottom, and man, whoever finds that rubber first, it's tough to run the top.
See you later.
Yeah, it's all about, they check out on you.
That's what happens in Glendon. Like this last week, it took rubber and it was follow later on the tires.
Yeah, we always set our stuff up to run along the fence, but occasionally we have to get down there with them, and
Yeah, I like ripping the cushion too.
yeah, same here.
Nice.
The girlfriend doesn't like watching me rip the cushion because she doesn't like me getting close to the wall. But
Yeah, I kind of went through that same thing. I've got one of my my oldest daughter ran the little 250s, and I mean, man, she was young, and that's what we told her. Hey, if you have trouble with the car when you get going into the turn, if it acts like it doesn't want to turn, and you have to start
Move up
letting
the track.
off, and just keep moving up the track. And man, by the end of the
Right.
main event, she was busting the beadlock bolts off the right rear tire on that thing. Oh man.
our shootout race on Sunday, our last one in Glendon, there was a really good top group. That's where Grant Sexton won it. And coming out of 4 in Glendon, the wall kind of closes in on you pretty quick. And I broke a wheel cover on Sunday because I tagged the wall so many times with the right rear.
Is there one driver, maybe more than any other driver, that you like racing against? Maybe just that brotherly competitive love,
Honestly, probably my teammate Weston. He's the 14-year-old.
Oh, nice.
You know what he's going to do. He's not going to take you out. He's not going to run into you. He's going to get out of the throttle before he hits you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, it's the kind of guys you want to race against. There's one driver in particular that's always ran us really clean, and I mean, it's just those guys there when you see them, we've got quite a few of them, but Jarrett Kramer, man, that guy, I mean, he'd battle you hard as heck, but man, he'd always run you clean, wouldn't force the issue, I mean, he always ran us really clean. So those drivers are, few and far between.
It's nice when you have guys like that because you can race to your full potential. You got guys that if you're worried about them running over your front end because they don't care, they got deeper pockets, and it kind of takes the fun out of it because you're backing out because you don't want to wreck your equipment for one.
Right.
It's not worth it. I mean, you're knock a front axle out of it. I mean, you're $1,500. I mean, it's not worth it.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what happened to us the first race of the year, running with the World Outlaws. And I made a dummy mistake. I didn't realize that the transponders, I renewed the subscription, but I didn't download the new program. I didn't know that that was such a
Oh, yeah.
thing.
I just did that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, well, we went to the track. The subscription was paid for, but we didn't get no time. So we started kind of deep in the field, and we got up to 5th. And then he caught that inside tractor tire with the left front. And that was kind of the end of our night as far as moving forward. We ended up finishing 7th. But
Gets you every
still,
night.
Yeah.
Gets you every time.
If it wasn't for the power steering in that car, he wouldn't have been able to turn it. I mean,
Wow.
when he turned the power steering off, coming off the track, he couldn't turn the car at all. So, I mean, that power steering, I've always kind of been on the fence with it. But, I mean, I'm glad it was
I
in.
love it.
I'm glad
I
it was
love
in
it.
there. Yeah.
I love it.
Wow. So, Dylan, who's been your biggest maybe moral supporter in racing?
Lately it's been the girlfriend. I mean, she's there every night at the shop. She's there every race. She works on the cars. She's literally been there no matter what.
Nice, like a ride or die.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I mean, when I was in my wreck, one night she hasn't been there all year. We ended up in a bad wreck, and she was freaking out. I wasn't responding. I woke up in the hospital the next day.
Yeah.
But,
Wow.
it was one of them deals that she's there no matter what.
Not leaving him now.
Yeah.
She either loves you or doesn't trust your driving.
We'll go with she loves me.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, kind of going back over what you've told us, with your motorcycle racing and with the lightning sprints and all that, we all have that one race that, we'll always remember, an experience at the track, good or bad. Tell us about yours.
I don't know if it's a good one or a bad one, but it would have been this year when I got wrecked. We tested the Tuesday before the Friday race down at the track, and we found some crazy good speed with. I'm really into shocks and build shocks and do all that, and we found some good stuff. And in the heat race, we dominated. I mean, half a track on a 3/8 mile track. I mean, gone. See you later. We started pull for the feature. I kind of spun on the start. I wanted to be on the top, and I kind of spun on the start. The guy got past me, and I, coming into 3 and 4, I was above him. The full head of steam got around him. He kind of slipped up the track and punted me into the wall. But I think if we wouldn't have been punted into the wall, it would have been a lights out show. I mean,
Wow.
we were fast.
Yeah. Wow. That's a good one there for sure. I know that you guys just ran your that summer shootout, so tell us your experience on how that went for you. As a driver up there.
Well, Thursday night was the first night in the new car. Didn't drive it, nothing. Just showed up to the track and went racing with it.
Wow.
After I finished building it Wednesday night. So we went. Heat race we were okay. We went 6th to 4th or something. So it was okay. I mean, and then feature we started 17th or 18th, and at one time I was up to 6th or 7th, and just made some unpatient mistakes in lap traffic, and I think I ended up 8th there.
Wow.
Friday night we started. I don't remember. I think I got 2nd in the heat race, 3rd in the heat race, and then they inverted it, and I started 12th, 13th. I don't know, but I was going to be passing for 3rd in lap traffic, and again, got impatient and tried to drive it in hard to get around him. Ended up, I think, 8th, 7th, or 8th again.
Holy smokes. Brand new car. You're just going all out.
Yeah. Saturday, I don't remember if we started I think we started pretty deep in the field. Yeah, because the heat race, I blew it off the top and running the top. I think I finished last. No, second to last. Didn't have to run the B main, so I started like 18th, 19th. I mean, way back there. And we were up again, up to 4th, 3rd or 4th, and lap traffic again. And I ended up 6th there, 7th there.
Wow.
And then Sunday in Glendon in the heat race, before we even got the green flag, I got ran over. So we had to do a bunch of fixing before the B main. Started dead last in the B main, got up to 6th, transferred there, and started 24th in the main, and was up to 5th, 6th, somewhere up in there. And then I blew it off the top in 4. I got too high and got in the marbles, and then I just pulled in. It was like 5 to go.
Oh, yeah.
So, Dylan, how do you like that new car so far?
It's fast.
Nice.
It's fast.
Nice.
Sounds like it.
Drivers got to have a little more patience.
Yes. Calm down, Grasshopper.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have some guys up there, and they do fine, but when they start getting lapped, they just stay in the race lane instead of moving up,
Yeah.
and it just makes it tough, and some of them are all over the place, so it's just, you know what I mean? It's like, do I stick my nose there? Do I not?
Not yet. New car.
Yeah. It's only new till it hits the track.
Right.
Yeah, it could have been a little more patient, and probably made it a little better finishes, but I don't know, we came out with the car in one piece, so I can't complain too much.
Amen, brother. Next
Yeah.
time. Next time.
Yeah.
Dylan, do you got any like pre-race rituals? Sometimes people listen to some, a music, a particular song, or work out, or something that kind of just sets you off. You know what I mean? Sets you in the motion, like day before, day of. You got anything like that?
No, not really. I like to get to the track early. Girlfriend hates it, but I like to get to the track pretty early and kind of just get everything set up and not have to rush and roll it out of the trailer, hurry up and get it ready.
Yeah.
That's about the only thing. I like to get to the track early.
Early bird gets the worm.
That's what
Yeah.
we do too, man. We're usually right there at the front. There's a few of them that get there early, but I like to get there and roll it out of the trailer and sit in the lawn chair. I mean.
Yeah, and I like to get all my shock stuff done, and I like to get tires aired up and measured and paired up, and if the track goes one way or the other way, and just kind of like to get everything ready so I'm not scrambling if it changes last minute.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. I sometimes will show up. I sell real estate, so I'll show up to a listing appointment either one of two ways, either late or early. And the early one I always do really well on. The late one, I'm just frantic the whole thing. Can I get you to sign this? Would you? Just losing my mind. It's the same. It's the same concept. You just get lost in like late. Gotta hurry. And
Yeah. This house is the house for you. Buy it.
Hurry, buy this.
Sign here.
It'd be great.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Then you got some guys that show up 5 minutes before hot laps or 5 minutes. It's just like I don't know how they do it.
I'm with you. Yeah, you're like, what in the hell is going on here with you guys?
Yeah.
Well, we're coming to the end here, Dylan, and this is where we give you a chance. Is there any crew members or sponsors or anything or anyone that you'd like to give a shout out to, give a thank you to?
No, I got my two guys that they don't come every weekend. I mean, they got families too, so I get it. But one of my buddies, Tyler, and another one, Marcus, the crew guys. It's really nice when they show up because it kind of takes a lot of stress off me, and I can more or less pay attention to the track and what's going on. And of course, like I said, the girlfriend, she does a lot of work on the car, unlike most. I mean, she's doing tires and mounting tires and all that stuff. So that helps every night too. So
man, that is a good girl to have right there.
Mountain tires. I hate mountain tires.
Oil changes. Is she oil changes too? Spark plugs.
Oh, I do that to make sure. I don't know. I like to do everything myself.
Right.
I don't. Not that I don't trust my guys. It's just I like to know a little more peace of mind behind when I'm in the car going 100 miles an hour.
Yeah. Mountain tires. I usually do that the week before. I usually set up everything from like 7 to 10 inches of stagger, different combinations, and I hate mountain tires. That's the worst. I hate that worse than anything. It's like, dang it.
I don't know. I gotten pretty good at it, so it goes pretty quick.
Yeah, I'm not bad at it. I just gotta. It's just like, oh man, I gotta turn that tire around or.
Right.
The fronts. I think I hate the fronts worse than anything. I'd rather do a left.
Fronts are terrible.
Yeah.
Fronts are terrible.
Yeah, I hear you.
Wow.
Oh, and then some of the sponsors. I mean, we got Olson Underground. He's big help. That's kind of my teammate now. And Northwind Chiropractic, Black Cat, Anderson Farms. Who else down there? Quality Cutting and Coring, Olson Construction, CSI. I'm a CSI dealer, so they're big help in the shocks department.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, CSI.
I'm sorry. We talked to from CSI.
No, there's CSI's one of the. I don't know. That's what I run on the front of mine. Well, actually, I run it on 3 of the 4 corners.
Right.
And a lot of guys run them. They QA1s are still out there. A few guys run them. That's what we ran.
Right.
And then we kind of moved on past them a little bit. And then there's ARS. There's a bunch of different AFCO, and there's a bunch of different ones. But I think right now, don't you think, Dylan? Probably CSI is probably one of the bigger ones. I think that everybody runs.
Yeah, CSI or Factory Canes now.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
FKs are good.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, Dylan, we're at the end of the call, if you will. I just wanted to we want to take opportunity. Thank you for calling in, being a part of our podcast today. And man,
no problem.
Just kind of breaking it down, telling us about your version of the story. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much. It's been great. Once we start getting these things out too, we'll let everybody know where they're at and where they can be found, and we'll make sure that everybody's got the heads up on it. And thank you so much again.
Yeah, get the word out and share for sure.
Thank you guys.
Hey, thank you. Have a good one, Dylan.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye. Wow.
That was a good one.
That was a good call.
Yeah, that was a great call.
Good
man.
call. Good call. There was a lot of good stuff. Good stuff. So the ritual thing, is that not a? Do you guys have some rituals, Mike, that you do?
Man, when we work out of town, when we travel out of town,
Yeah.
we usually stop somewhere and eat, and just kind of try to relax a little bit. Usually, we got things that we do to make sure that are done on the car Thursday night, and then things that we do Friday night. We usually load, so we're just getting in the truck to drive away Saturday morning, depending on where we're at. But I mean, we really don't have, besides that, it's just it's just routine maintenance and stuff like that we try to get done to make sure that we always start the car before we push it in the trailer just to make sure that it's going to start.
Push a dead car into the trailer. So here we are. Welcome to the back to the Behind the Wheel podcast. This is part 2. I'm Bill Mell with Bill Mell Associates Real Estate Services, and we also have
Mike Schweitzer.
Yeah, and we're located here in Bakersfield, California. And our second caller is Johnny Booz from the Rocky Mountain Lightning Sprint Association. Johnny, you there?
Yeah, how are you guys?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Nice.
Hey, thanks for calling in, and I hope things are going good for you up there in Colorado. So just kind of a little backdrop on, we've started doing a few podcasts, and so you're here with Bill Mell and myself, Mike Schweitzer, and me and Bill used to work together, and a longtime friend, and he's a sponsor of our CLS 41 car, and he had this awesome studio, and he talked about doing some podcasts because him and his son were doing a few of them, and he gave us an opportunity to do some, and he first brought it up about doing some on the oil and gas industry, and that's when gas was like $6 something a gallon, and I thought there ain't no way we're doing it on the oil and gas industry. It's
almost over.
Oh man, that'll be treacherous. They'll be waiting outside for us.
Yes.
But yeah, we got the opportunity to do a couple of these podcasts, so we're just reaching out to Lightning Sprint drivers for now across the country, and we've had interest from a few midget guys, sprint car guys. So I don't know where this is going to go, but thank you again for calling in and being a part of it.
Yeah, thanks for having me here.
For sure. Hey, Johnny, how old are you?
I am 25.
Oh. 25. Another young
one.
Young
we just
buck.
had 29. Yeah,
29.
So this is Mike. I'm 61, or gonna be 61.
And I'm Bill. I'm 50. I just turned 50 this year. So yeah, I like to go fast too.
Yeah.
There you go. It's always fun.
Always fun. Where do you live at exactly, Johnny?
I live in Lakewood, Colorado. I was born and raised there, so don't plan on going there to go away anytime soon.
Gotcha. So Lakewood, is that where Coors is?
It's close by. Coors is based out of Golden.
Golden.
That's where that's where their main brewery plant is, and a bunch of the business side of things. But it's not too far.
Nice. Is that one of your sponsors?
I would like it to be, but unfortunately not.
Oh man, me too. I'd like to have that sponsor.
Yeah. Well, we don't have Paramount Pictures over here as our sponsors either.
Yeah. What do you do for a living up there?
So I'm actually a mechanical engineer. I work for Swagelok Denver. We sell fluid distribution components, such as valves, fittings, regulators. And then have actually just joined their field engineering program in order to move out into that role, being able to go out into the field, seeing customers, job sites, stuff like that. So, it's a lot of fun. I'm fresh out of college, so seeing where it takes me in life.
Man, the numbers make sense to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That is awesome. You married out there or anything, Johnny?
I'm not married.
Girlfriend?
Legally, I guess. I've got a girlfriend. Her name's Jessie. We met freshman year of high school. We've been dating for just over 10 years, so we're basically married at this point, been living together. So if you want to call it common law, then go for it.
Yeah. Shacked up in Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Any kids yet?
No, I don't think we're going to have any children. We're going to build a house full of dogs.
There you go.
Full of dogs, yeah.
I don't have an answer for that.
Was that your girlfriend?
No, that was Siri. Sorry.
Oh, no, that was a good response though. Yeah, I've got that too. I've got a golden retriever and a rescue dog that was a border collie Labrador mix. And when we brought her home, man, she was so small. I mean, tiny. And now that thing is like, oh man, she weighs like 130 pounds. I mean, she's a monster dog. But I mean, same thing. I like the dogs, man. I'd seen where you went to the Colorado School of Mines. What did you study when you were there?
When I was there, I studied mechanical engineering. Graduated there in 2021. So That's actually just down the road from Coors, ironically. So
Nice.
that's a big hot spot for all the college kids that are of age to drink and go play around and have fun throughout Golden. But yeah, that's what I studied there. I like the more hands-on aspect of stuff, focusing on more of like the manufacturing area of things. So definitely got my attention, and I have absolutely loved it so far. So
The reason I was asking about the Colorado School of Mines is I worked in the oil and gas industry for like 38 years in the rig department, workover and production rigs, and that kind of caught my eye. I've worked with a lot of good engineers that have come out of that school, and when I saw that, I thought, oh man, I got to ask him about that. So the fluid ends. The fluid ends. Are you talking about like mud pump fluid ends or injection pumps, or what? What exactly are you doing with the fluid ends?
So it's a lot of different things. At Swagelok, we basically were territories that we sell at. So kind of what we're in our territories, we sell in Colorado, and we focus in Wyoming. So most of the stuff that we deal with is kind of the stuff focused in that area, whether it be oil and gas. We get a lot of aerospace stuff for stuff that is being launched up into space, between rockets that people are building to stuff that's being sent to the moon. We're working with a lot of stuff that's like oil extraction for cannabis industry, bunch of stuff that kind of is a wide range of things. But we also do a lot of like pharmaceutical, universities do a lot of lab research. So there's not really one focused aspect that we sell to, but when it comes to a bunch of stuff like that, it's mainly if you've got some sort of gas or liquid that you're needing to get from point A to point B, we're going to have the stuff for it and be able to get you what you need. If not, we'll figure out how to get that.
Right. Wow. That sounds like an awesome job.
Yeah, when you start talking about I'm not a marijuana advocate or anything like that, but I know that they're doing a lot of stuff, taking the THC out of marijuana, putting it into other forms, purer forms, if you will, and so the compression and stuff like that kind of sounds like that could be a thing that you were talking about as well, right?
Yeah, it's pretty cool because there's a lot of like extraction companies that we'll sell to where it's either they're building the extractors and they're using our components to be able to get the gases and fluids through, or they are setting up their systems to do the actual extraction. But it is either using the solutions and media that they've got in order to get that extraction process done, or it's for the actual components that they sell. So it's pretty cool to kind of see how wide of a variety there is of stuff. And it's kind of one of those things, you get a customer calling in every day and it could be something completely different. It's like, I've never even heard of this, but I'll do my research and see how I can help you.
Wow.
For sure.
Yeah, that's a pretty awesome job, really.
It is.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Johnny, what number are you running on that race car of yours?
My number is 24B.
For Bill?
You wish.
No, it's actually going to be for my last name B is for Booze. But yeah, one of the fun things about that is I grew up watching NASCAR, kind of being around racing my whole life, and most everybody knows 24 is associated with Jeff Gordon in NASCAR, and he was my number one like idol.
Right.
I don't know what it was that made me fall in love with him, whether it was the car he was driving, the guy he was. I honestly can't even tell you, but was like, I like this guy, and was like, I'm going to stick with 24, and then put the B on there when I started racing the Lightning Sprints, because 24 was actually taken already, so we had to change it up a little bit in order for me to be able to still run 24. So threw on the B on there at the end, and that's where we've been since then.
Nice.
Wow. And so Booze, your last name, my last name, Mel. So it's, I get some different stuff. They want to call me a Mel, M-A-I-L. I'm like, no, I'm not the mailman. Or they want to say Paul Mall because it sounds like Bill Mal. I'm like, what in the world? The Paul Mall, like a cigarette, or what the world?
Yeah.
So kind of just for everyone that's listening right now, Johnny Booze, his last name is spelled Boos, and it's not like the booze you drink. It's more like booze, like the booze you get. And I'm sure, you've been racing probably for a little while. Yeah, Johnny?
Yeah, I've been racing the Lightning Sprints now. I've been racing, this is my 9th season. But I actually started racing when I was about 6 years old. That's when I first started racing. So I've been doing this for quite a while. This will be my 16th year racing. So it's definitely been in the system for a while.
Yeah. Oh, I've watched a lot of your videos and stuff like that, or races that you've been in. I know that there's a lot of cars across the country that kind of stick out. Yours has been one of them, and then one of them also was that yellow 31 car of what was his name? Knuckles, his last name. He was from the Midwest, and man, that car was fast too. But yeah, I watch a lot of Lightning Sprints, kind of keep up, and I slow that stuff down and look what you guys are all running, so I can try to keep my old stuff kind of updated, looking at your guys' setups and stuff like that, and tracks, how they're looking to get in the corner and that. But what chassis and motor are you running in that 24B car?
So this season we actually just got a brand new chassis. So we're running a 2022 Hyper chassis. The thing's been amazing. We ran a Hyper before that. That was actually one of their old house cars that they had built to run at the Tulsa shootouts when they were running the Lightning Sprint there. But it's amazing. Nothing bad to say about it. And then with that, we've got a 1,000cc Honda CBR engine that we've got in there, fuel injected on the methanol. So that thing has got some serious power. It's got some nice low end torque for some of the smaller tracks we're running, and can't really complain about it.
Right. Yeah, them Hondas, there's a few of them around that run with us also. There's getting to be more and more. I think the thing with the Hondas is they're kind of cost effective. It seems like they put out pretty good, they're pretty durable motor, and they're relatively, you can pick them up, for a song and a dance, versus some of the other motors that are out there for sure.
Yeah, the nice thing about these is with the Lightning Sprints, there's a lot of stuff it's pretty affordable. You get some of the motors that can be pretty pricey in terms of kind of what you're looking at, depending on what builder it is that makes them, or if you're getting them stock out of the bike, stuff like that. But with some of these, we ran a Yamaha before we switched over to the Honda. But the biggest thing that we started running into that was finding motors to put in the car. When we would blow a motor or stuff would start to get worn out, we would try to find a new, a fresher motor. And we would end up running into having a hard time of finding one that still got some good power. So we were like, oh, we'll see what happens. Switched over to the Honda, and it was the same, if not better. So it's been pretty cool.
Yeah, we've got a guy, you probably know him or heard of him, Bobby McNovich has got one of the Hondas in his car. And every time he always tells me, yeah, it's down on horsepower compared to what you're running. And I said, you're not psyching me out, dude. I've watched that car get around this track. You're not psyching me out.
Yeah.
Not gonna do that. So how did you get your start in Lightning Sprints, and how long ago was that?
So this is my 9th season now. We had started racing in quarter midgets when I was 6, like I'd mentioned, being racing for this long.
Yeah.
And after we got kind of too big for those, getting just kind of oversized for what we were doing, we were like, well, we want to see kind of what dirt's like. We had some people that we knew from racing the quarter midgets that had moved up to dirt, and we're like, it's a lot of fun, you got to come to it. And we were kind of playing the options, so we ended up moving up to dirt. We ran a smaller car before that, but then decided to move up to Lightning Sprints. At the time, the 600cc class wasn't as popular, so we looked, we were like, we want to find something that's bigger, got a little bit more power, but we also want to have competition that we can run with, not go out with 2 cars and just have a hot lap session. So we ended up going to the Lightning Sprints, started out there, and we've been in it since then. And I mean, it's been amazing. So a lot of great people, bunch of fun racing, and it's just, you can actually show up, have a good time, enjoy all the people that you hang out with, go race, and then socialize with them afterwards.
We hear that from all over the country, about that, the affordability of this, and the family oriented, one brother to another, if you will, racing brother, that is. And
exactly.
So Johnny, do you remember, you talked about your, first, racing here, about 6 years old, you started there. Do you remember your first race?
Kind of. One of the first really experiences was actually when I first got in a race car. It was called Try It to See If You Like It, and it was in the quarter midgets.
Nice.
Wasn't really a race that we did, but it was more of showed up to the track. There was some cars available. It was okay, let's get in. You can go turn some laps around the track, see how you like it, and kind of go from there. Well, it started out great, was liking it. Unfortunately, what happened was they had put a full-size helmet on me, so it was pretty heavy for me at 5.5, 6 years old.
Right.
So I'm out there turning laps, having fun. Well, the more and more laps I got, if you've ever seen a quarter midget, the kids would hang out the side of the car. Well, as I continued to turn those laps, my neck started to get more and more tired or weak at that point because I was holding up such a heavy helmet. Well, shortly after all that started happening, I couldn't see very well and ended up driving it into the wall. And so hit the wall, scared me, totaled the car, was freaking out, got out of the car and basically looked at my dad and said, I don't ever want to do this again. And then he started to freak out because at this point he had pretty much bought a car, had it pretty much all the way together for us to start this next season. And I'm sitting there saying, I don't want to ever race again because I just drove into the wall and don't want to experience that again. So
Right.
yeah, that was one of the very first experiences I ever had in terms of a race or getting in the race car, and didn't exactly go as planned, but something must have clicked because here we are this amount of years later still racing. So
I get it. I
Wow.
totally get it. I was in a motorcycle accident in 2015 and always full face helmet. I may not wear jeans, or I may have not have wore jeans up until then. I was wearing shorts that day, and man, it road rashed me all to hell and broke a couple
Yeah.
bones. And man, it was 4 years before I got back on a bike again. But because there was just some mind, it was just mind over matter, and I didn't mind, and it really mattered. It really beat me up inside. Started affecting different parts of my life. I'm like, I don't even know if I could even sell real estate anymore. I've been doing real estate for 19 years. But it was affecting me a little bit. So we went down to San Diego, and they have a go-kart track down there that's they're like I think they're electric cars. But I mean, they get it. They will get it. But you have to wear
Yeah.
their helmet, and their helmet is a full face helmet, which I didn't have a problem with. But I had a modular helmet that I was wearing before, and the modular, you can open it up and breathe on it. You know what I mean? And I couldn't breathe. I got claustrophobic on the first lap in this car, and I'm like, I don't think I'm ever putting another helmet on to save my life. And I've had a bike now for about 4 years, I guess. And it's mind over matter, and I don't mind it. It don't matter, so I get it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I get a lot of people that ask me all the time kind of about the claustrophobic aspect that you're talking about, where I'll have people that see the car that I'm racing, and then they'll look inside, and if you've looked inside of a Lightning Sprint before, you see how tight it is, and you're sitting straight up and your pedals are straight down. People see that and they look at me and they're like, how do you do that? And I'm a bigger, heavier set guy. So, I mean, I'm squeezing into this car, and they're like, why does this not freak you out? How do you not get claustrophobic? And I tell them, I said, to be honest, I said, I'm more comfortable driving this car than I am like a quarter midget or the 270 micro sprints that I was running before that, where you're sitting with your feet all the way straight out. Like, I don't know what it is about these, but I am a lot more comfortable driving this way. And they're like, I just don't know how you do it. I would be freaking out going into a panic attack because everything feels so close and tight to you. And I was like, hey, the way I see it is if I have no wiggle room, there's not wiggle room for me to be bouncing around in case something happens.
Yeah,
So
I get that. Amen. So when you say you're a big guy, so I'm 5'9", I weigh about 250. I got broad shoulders. How tall are you?
I'm 5'9" to 5'10" on a good day, and I'm about 240 pounds. So I'm probably exactly the same.
Yeah, you're probably about the same then.
So
This is, you know, it's always a competitive nature. So this is where I'm 5'8" and I'm 219. Wow. Yeah, but just recently.
So is it like sitting in an office chair where your feet go straight down? Is that what I'm imagining when you said that?
yeah, so when you're sitting in the car, you got your seat sitting there, and a lot of people compare it to like driving a school bus.
Gotcha.
You sit there, you've got your gas on the right side, the brake on the left, and you've got your steering wheel. Well, it sits more flat, so you're turning it instead of being straight like a car. It sits more flat to where you're turning it sideways. So when you're sitting in the car, everything's a little bit tighter because you've got your motor right in front of you. So where your feet touch the front of the car on the inside, that's where that motor is mounting to. So you don't have a whole lot of wiggle room in terms of putting your feet out straight or anything like that. So like with the gas pedal, you're moving it straight up and down, and the brake is a forward back motion. So you got to kind of train your brain on that too, that it's not like pushing a regular gas or brake pedal.
Right.
So it was definitely something to kind of get used to, and you start to look at it and go, well, how am I gonna tell my brain that I need to push up and down with one foot, forward and back with another, while I'm driving and thinking about all this other stuff? But it can click pretty quick. So
we've been driving with one foot our whole life, and now we got to use two.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's you sit in those cars like that. Years ago, they used to have. They don't run them anymore, but there was a couple guys that had kind of a lay down model, and they don't allow those anymore. But
really,
yeah, you sat more down on the floor pan. But yeah, it was man, that was years. That was back in the early '90s probably.
Wow.
You know, yeah. So you talked about your quarter midget racing. And we know that you've been driving the Lightning Sprints. Has there been any other racing that you've been involved in, Johnny?
No, the quarter midgets is where I started. The Lightning Sprints now. The only other thing that I ever drove was the 270 cc micro sprints. That's what we first started driving when we went to dirt. Kind of something to transition to, not go too big and crazy. So that was a nice kind of transition point. Ran those for 2 years, get a good feel of what the dirt racing's like, see if it's something I'm going to enjoy. And then after we ran those for 2 years, we were like, it's time to step it up, find something a little bigger, a little bit more motor. And then that's where we ended up moving to the Lightning Sprints and have been there since then.
Gotcha.
Wow. Johnny, have you thought about racing, what your future in racing, might be? Or
honestly, I don't really know what it looks like. Ideally, everybody wants to move up to the biggest, best thing. I would like to eventually move up to a big full-size sprint car someday. But with that, there's a lot more traveling, a little bit more money involved. So gets to be kind of a, like, when does that happen? And like my dad always says, now that I'm a fancy engineer, I can start saving up the money to do that. But anytime soon, don't think it's going to happen. But ideally, I'd like somebody to walk up and say, hey, I've got a full-size sprint car. Do you want to be my driver? They're like, yeah, that's awesome. I'll come drive for you. But the chances of that are a lot more slim. So we'll just see how it goes.
Well, you could always get that good sponsorship there in Golden, Colorado. Maybe
heck yeah.
Spend some more time drinking there. You might be able to meet the right person.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that sprint car racing's pretty expensive. The guy that drives ours, Lightning Sprint, he also runs a 410, and we go and help him occasionally. And man, there is just the fuel alone, it's costly on a night, you know.
Yeah, they can really stack up in price just between the cost of what it is to run and maintain the car, let alone fuel prices from driving from track to track. I mean, right now in Colorado, there's not a lot of big sprint options. We've got a wingless series that some people run, but other than that, most of the traveling that we would have to do would be going to like Kansas and Nebraska every weekend, and with getting time off work and just the expenses of all that, it would just be pretty crazy to jump into right away.
Right. This is one question that we've been asking everybody too. Is where most of the drivers, we've been kind of mixing it up a little bit. So before a race, is there any pre-race ritual that you do the night before, the day of, music you listen to or anything, or
food you eat, maybe some hot dogs, bologna sandwiches, or
so one of them, I get a hard time from family and friends, and you guys can't judge me for this, but the night before I like get ready, take a shower before bed, I always have my checkered undies that I wear those underwear to the track, wear them under my race suit, and that's what I have almost every race, and those are the good luck underwear, and don't know what it is, but gotta have them.
Is that a thong?
No, I don't think I'd be able to get one of those.
No judgment then. No judgment.
Yeah, if it had been a thong, we might have been talking a different story.
We might have thrown a little heat your way for sure. But as long as it's not a thong, man, you're good.
You're good, man.
No, I would not be able to do that. I would be distracted on that, being uncomfortable. Then, like, yep, nope, not doing that.
Hey, bro, what's up your butt? My drawers, man, my drawers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be a little embarrassing too, you know, at the track in case
what if
get you out of the car.
Yeah, have to cut your suit off, and you're like, what in the world?
Yeah, what is this guy? What do we got going on?
Thong.
What do we got going on here? So
yeah, no.
Hey Johnny, who's kind of been like, you know, in racing, who's been like your biggest moral supporter in your career?
Probably as far as moral support, there's not really one specific person. I mean, my family and friends, they've always been there when it comes to racing. They know how important it has been. I mean, all of my close family and friends, they've seen me racing since I was 6 years old, so they know kind of what it is. But yeah, as far as supporters, I mean, I've got my parents, they got me into this. It's their fault if we want to point fingers kind of deal. But they've always been there. My grandparents, they've been there, whether it's been my grandpa working on the car, my other grandma and grandpa being up in the stands cheering me on, other grandma cheered me on, stuff like that. Over the years, I've gotten such a group of fans and people that are always there cheering me on. It's like if I get out after I win a race or something like that, it's the biggest section of the stands that's jumping up, screaming, cheering, and it's gotten to the point now where people announcing at the track know exactly where my family and friends are because they can hear them screaming and whistling and cheering, stuff like that. So
that's so cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's a lot of fun, it being that I've got such that close, tight group of family and friends that are there for me and are always texting and asking how stuff's going, and I couldn't ask for anything better.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool when your family's there, you know, especially when you win. It's even better. You know? Yeah. It's even better. That's us, man. I mean, there's nothing better than closing the track down, and when the lights go off, we're still there, you know. So
yeah, exactly.
So being in Colorado, what's your favorite track you guys run on up there?
Right now, one of the tracks that I'm really enjoying is actually Honor Speedway in Pueblo, Colorado. They've been doing a lot of stuff to that track. It's a pretty new startup track that's been there for a while. Alan Davis, the promoter, he's really been stepping up kind of what he's doing. They've just reshaped and regraded the track to be able to give it more banking, better racing surface on. So that one's been a lot of fun lately for the last few races that we've been running on it. But I mean, as far as all the tracks that we've been running on in Colorado, every single one of them has their advantages, and they're all so different in terms of size and shape, banking, stuff like that, that it makes it nice because you're showing up to a different track each time instead of racing the same track over and over and just getting used to kind of what do I need to do because I've learned this track so well. Being able to kind of change it up and be able to throw some new hats out of, or new tricks out of your hat. So
Right.
It's true.
That's pretty cool. You know, that's nice. You know,
We're talking to a lot of racers, if you will, you know, just in the short time, and we've been asking kind of this, not a whole bunch of the same questions, but kind of trying to get the feel of what, you know, where everyone's coming from, if you will, and we've all maybe had that one race or experience at the track that you'll never forget. You know what I mean? And whether it was a win or a lose or, you know, you crapped your pants that night or whatever,
Yeah.
the helmet broke your neck or, you know,
helping somebody.
yeah. Tell us about yours.
so mine honestly would have to be from this season. We went and ran the 2022 Lightning Sprint Nationals out in Missouri. And the first night we ran great, had a good car. But then it was that second night that it was probably one of the most fun races I've ever run just because of the competition I had and the battling back and forth. Got out and was leading for most of the race, and in the time there was probably 4 different people that I was swapping back and forth with to try to maintain that lead. One of them being Chris Crowder. We were going back and forth for a good amount of laps where he would come in low trying to get underneath me. I was able to hold it up high on the track and get a good run out of the corner. And it was just back and forth like that for the last laps of that race. Ended up resulting in me getting the win, which makes it even better. And it was just kind of one of those things where it was like, it sticks in your brain watching, the recaps of stuff from people posting on social media, being able to see that. I mean, that's going to be one thing that's the biggest race that we race in a season, and being able to have the bragging rights of saying that I won that, it's just going to stick forever.
Yeah.
Nice. How long ago was that?
That was Memorial Day weekend. So it was over, it was towards the end of May because we were actually there for my birthday, which is Memorial Day weekend. So
that was what he was telling us about.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we've had Crowder on here. He was one of the first ones that we had call in and talk to us, and very good interview. I've known Chris for a while, and man, tough competitor for sure in that 26 car. You know, I mean, he's always been right up in there. You know, we kind of always josh one another back and forth, whether it's at Bakersfield or, you know, Lemoore and stuff like that. But he's a tough competition for sure, man.
But he was talking about too about that clean racing, and the up and down. He's like, it was the one recent race he was talking about. That I think best I recall, the up and down. So he's got some mad respect for you as well. It sounds like.
Yeah, that's for sure.
He's a great guy to race with. That's for sure.
So you being a veteran, what advice could you give to somebody just starting out in lightning sprints?
I think one of the biggest things is whether it's somebody that's already got the race car ready to start or somebody that's looking at it. One of the biggest things is a lot of people will look at stuff like this and think, oh, this is going to be a lot of money. It's going to be difficult to afford, and it's just going to be like, is it really worth it? In my opinion, one of the biggest things, there's going to be a little bit of an upfront initial cost for kind of the investment of buying a car or stuff like that. But once you do it, if you do it right, you can make it affordable. You're not having to go out and buy brand new stuff every weekend to be able to have the newest, best, and greatest thing. It's one of those things where if you know how to set up the car, you know how to drive the car, you can have a great team, you can make do with what you've got, and it can be fast and win you races. So I think that's one of the biggest things is that's kind of a thing that anybody sees racing, people are going to think money. It's the matter of what am I going to be getting into? What is going to be that cost of stuff? And can I do it where I'm basically on a budget, but it's still that budget that's going to allow me to win? That's pretty much what we've done through our whole racing career, because we're not walking away with big sponsorship money, anything like that. We go through and figure out what do we need to win and prioritize on that stuff. But yeah, and then in terms of people that are racing, if it's something that you just started, it's stressful, whatever like that, times can be very crazy, but all you need to do is step back, breathe, and then get back into it. You're going to need to have that mental break every once in a while. It's going to be stressful, and you're going to kind of have those panic attacks, but in the end, it's a lot of fun. You get to go back, do something that you like, and be able to have a great time doing it.
Right.
That's awesome. That we've heard that too from most of the drivers we've, if not all the drivers we spoke with, is that Lightning Sprints is one of the most, if not the most affordable racing you can get into. And if you like to go fast, get in, all in, and you're not going to be, you may not be the richest one, but you can still get some wins without breaking the bank, if you will.
Doesn't have to be new to win.
Yes.
Exactly. I mean, we've run, we always joke with my dad, because we'll run our tires until they're pretty much bald, or you can see the cords hanging out of them, because we sit there and go, we can get some more races out of this. Everybody gives us a hard time because when we put new tires on, they're like, oh my gosh, they hit the lottery. They've got all the money in the world now, and kind of joke around about stuff like that. But it's one of those things where it's like, you don't have to have brand new stuff every race. Just because it's brand new doesn't mean it's going to win you the race. It's the matter of who you've got on your team. Can you guys get it all figured out, set the car, and then can you drive it? I mean, that's the biggest thing. My dad always jokes around, because I mean, it's been me and him since the start, and he does a lot of the work on the car, setups, maintenance, stuff like that. I'll help him do kind of some of the grunt work. But he always jokes around, because me and him have been doing this for so long. He says that he's the brains, I'm the balls, because he knows how I drive. He can set the car up to make it fast, and then I can go out and drive that car to put it as fast as it'll go. So it's kind of one of those things. I have people ask me all the time, oh, what do you do here or here? And it's like, to be honest, I don't really know sometimes, because my dad will make some of those tweaks to the car, not even tell me, but then he'll be like, oh, yeah, I did this before you went out. And it's like, well, clearly it worked because it was fast and you knew how to do it, so I'm not going to judge you for it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, this question here, you're the first driver that gets to answer it. So in the main event, you're in the race, under the caution, with 10 to go. Do you want to be leading it, or do you want to be running second?
Well, for stress sake, I'd probably rather be sitting second, because then I can focus on the people, the person that's in front of me and what I need to do to try to get the lead, versus sitting in the lead and stressing about who's behind me and what do I need to do to try to keep them from gaining the lead. So, yeah, and in a sense like that, it'd be a lot less stressful to be sitting second, because then I can just push myself to get back up there to try to get that lead, instead of trying to play the guessing game of who's behind me and are they going to try to do anything to get that lead from me.
That's
so I'm taking, I don't know a lot coming into this, if you will, but I'm taking it there are no rear view mirrors on these cars.
Oh no.
No, there's not. We're not allowed to have anything in terms of being able to see behind us. And then the other thing, we all have our receivers, but that's only for the track to talk to us. We're not allowed to have any like secondary input to us as far as like having a spotter or anything like that. So when we're out there, we're doing our own thing, and it's kind of not necessarily a guessing game, but you're going to try to do and hit every mark that you can.
Yeah.
But you won't know until somebody's right there next to you. Then it's okay, what do I need to do now to try to keep this position instead of having them get it from you?
Yeah, exactly.
Another thing too, wouldn't those metal threads coming out of your tires be kind of like another version of some like metal knobbies in the dirt?
No, it's all. No,
I don't know about that.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Okay.
So we kind of do the same thing. Tire starts getting down there. We get out the groove and iron and make it look new again. It's kind of the same thing. Well, we're kind of coming to the end here, and this is where we give you the chance to give a shout out to anybody that helps you out in your crew, any sponsors or anything like that. Who would you like to thank on that 24B car?
The biggest two people, I've mentioned it before, but I've got to give a shout out to my mom and dad. Without them, we wouldn't be here, because I never would have thought that I would have been racing cars at 25 years old. Before racing, I was playing soccer, and now here I am racing. So the soccer didn't work out, apparently.
Shout out to cool parents. Shout out to cool parents.
So I want to give them a big thanks for everything they've done. I want to give a shout out to Jessie. She's dealt with me for 10 years of this now, coming home late at night after the races.
There you go, Jesse.
Being one of the people out there supporting me, cheering me on. And then I've got my grandparents always out there helping, whether they're with us now or watching from above. I can't be any more grateful for that. And then as far as crew members, Brian, or as he likes to go by, Tiny, because he's not so tiny. He's one of the great crew members that I've got. He's always there helping out, getting stuff ready for me. It's been amazing having him, so takes a big stress off of things. And then as far as sponsors, I've got my one main sponsor. It's going to be Tammy and Wendy at Studio One Hair and Nails. They've always been big supporters, helping out financially, and it always is a conversation starter when somebody sees that I'm sponsored by a hair and nail salon. So it's a lot of fun, but they're always giving shout outs and keeping up with how things are going. So I can't thank them enough.
Nice.
That's awesome, Johnny. Awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, just wanted to thank you again for taking the time to call in and speak with us today. And it's much appreciated. And we want to wish you good luck this season. Rest of the season.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate this opportunity, and glad to see that everybody's participating in stuff like this. It's a lot of fun to kind of get that exposure and let people know how things are going.
Yeah,
there it is.
Yep, we're gonna do them as long as there's a need for them. As long as there's a little interest in it, we'll keep doing them. So, but like Bill said, thank you so much for calling in.
Yeah, thanks, Johnny.
Yeah, thanks.
Have a good one.
Bye bye.
You too.
Wow, Mike.
Yeah,
that was a great call.
It sure was. Both of them. I don't know that we've had a bad call, really. I mean,
no, it's been good information. Good talking with these people from in just around the country. It's been I noticed a little bit in on kind of where they're from, so I can. Some of the guys from like the Minnesota up in that area.
Yeah,
I can hear the Minnesota, the Indiana in their voice, if you will.
Yeah,
and but no matter where we're calling from, and the same thing, the race is in their blood. You can hear the excitement of like, man, the first time I was out there, and the last race I just did, and they're, just. Man, you can feel it. You can feel it no matter where they're from.
Well, once you do it, it's so hard to get out of it. I mean, it's tough. The only way that you can really get out of it, I think, is move out of the country or move to a recluse area where there's, no racetracks, no racing, but you're still going to be able to watch it on flow and still going to build that desire to do it. And so I think you just have to not go to the races, move far away as you can, and no internet. No internet. But other than that, man, I mean, it's going to be in your blood. I mean, some of these guys been doing it, all their life.
Wow.
And it's amazing.
I never, like I said, never really had a clue about just the racing thing. I mean, I know the racing, NASCAR, and all that, kind of stuff, but I never, in Orange County we had Speedway, so we had the Orange County Speedway, like Penhall. I remember when I was a kid, Bruce Penhall. You know what I mean? And they would, the metal boot on one side, and then they would we talked with a driver like that, and I didn't know that that's what he was talking about when he said that, because I always knew it as speedway.
Right.
But yeah, and then there was like no brakes on the bike, and so they'd just be running circles, and it would be just like on a constant slide out,
Yeah.
if you will. And
Yeah.
and so our racing is the same thing. We're on a constant slide out, right?
Pretty much. I mean, you want the car to go as straight as possible. You know, you don't want it. It makes for a real cool picture when the wheels are crossed up
Right.
and the car's sideways. But, you know, a lot of that you're scrubbing off speed
Right.
to a point. You know, but I mean, the big sprint cars, of course, they got the power to pull out of it. You know, but with us, when that happens with a lightning sprint, you know, you're scrubbing off speed. The guy behind you is going around you or catching up to you, one of the two. You know. But I mean, it makes, like I said, it makes for a cool picture. But you know,
Sure.
you
Or
want
T-shirt.
yeah, or T-shirt. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's just you want it to go nice and straight. You know, maybe a little bit in the turn. You know, set the car and let it rotate through. But yeah, it's that speedway racing's awesome.
Wow.
That's really awesome.
Wow.
So
Man, Mike. So we're at the end of number 8.
number 8.
Number 8. Man, we're almost there.
We're almost there.
We're almost going live, if you will.
Yep.
So, hey, congratulations, number 8.
Yeah. Same to you, man.
There it is. All right. And we'll see you on the next one, yeah?
All righty, Bill. Thank you, bud.
You bet.